Now, the first thing we do in every class is we sort of set our mind, our intention into the practice. And we do this with a bow. So a bow is done with feet together and hands to your side. The idea here is that you're standing in a very neutral position. You're not reaching forward in like an aggressive way, and you're not hiding your hands in a way where they can't be seen. They're just very neutral. And what you want to think about is gratitude. And the gratitude for the practice of Tai Chi, gratitude for the multiple generations that have passed the knowledge along that allow us to learn it, and then gratitude for the people that we are at least virtually interacting with at the moment. So, hands to the side, and then the bow, and in your mind, thinking of the gratitude for the practice. Now, we'll do the practice. Now, Tai Chi is many things, but one of the most important things to think about initially is it's a maximization of the potential of body movement. So you want to take your physical body and develop it to its healthiest, fullest potential. And so conceptually, this means that you have to have a center point to go from. So if one limb is moving in isolation and the rest of the body is not coordinated to that, it's a very limited amount of the body's potential, because my arm is like, maybe 10% of my body's mass, 15%. But if I want my body's potential to be maximized as a unit, as a unity, I need that arm to move with the rest of the body. And that's done through a point here. So this is the center of the Tai Chi practice. You put your thumbs like this, you cross your fingers, you put your thumbs in your belly button, and you let your hands fall down like this. And what you're doing is you're holding where the fingers cross here, what's called the lower dantian. The dantian is the center of the body from the top of the head to the bottom of the feet. But more importantly, in the Taoist conception of the body, which is how like Chinese medicine is modeled and Tai Chi is modeled, this is the center of your breathing and your energetic body as well as your physical body. So everything emanates from this point. And then what you want to do from there is expand outwards into the actual movements of the practice. So to start with, put your feet shoulder width apart and bend your knees. Hold the lower dantian. Feel the musculature of that part of your body pushing against your hands, and your hands sort of, gently, but pushing against that part of the body. And then breathe in through your nose with your tongue on the roof of your mouth and push that point forward and out. And then when it's full of air here, contract the muscles inwards and push the air out through your mouth. In and out. So if Tai Chi is to maximize the body's potential, the breathing is the center of every movement, or the core of every movement. So everything is going to come out forward from this point. So with your feet shoulder width apart, continue to breathe here. And take your left foot and take a big step forward with it, so that but keep your feet shoulder width apart. So what that means is, if my feet are shoulder width apart here, when I step forward, they continue to have the same width. And from that point, I'm going to take my dantian, I'm going to push it forward, and I'm going to push it back. And I'm doing this as I breathe. So I'm breathing out, and I'm breathing in. Now what matters here, especially for people that have done this a few times now, all of the weight is on one foot, all of the weight goes to the other foot. A complete transfer of weight from one foot to the other. In time with the breath. So as I said, the breath is at the core, center. Now we're moving out from that, and the plane of travel we're moving on is forward and back. Forward and back. So the first movement that exists in most life forms is forward. If you think of a baby learning how to walk, they get up and they try to walk forward. They don't try to walk backwards. That takes a different part of your brain. So this is the first movement, is to go forward, but you can only go forward so far, and then you have to go backwards. So that's one plane of travel. The next plane of travel for the center is to go side to side, like a revolving door. So we're going to take the position of, when we come back, of turning the center to the outside, in this case the right side, because my right foot is back, and then back to the front. Back and to the side, forward and to the front. back and to the side, forward and to the front. So now we have two planes of travel, but the hips are staying horizontally level to the floor. And by doing that, they keep the shoulders square. So now you're taking your center and moving it in a much more dynamic way, but the breathing is the same, and the fundamental movement is from here as always. So now, because layers and layers and layers get added to this, it's the hand. How are we going to move the hand? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to think about the arm having three main joints. And the first joint is the shoulder. So, you bring yourself to the forward position and you go to push back, feel your right shoulder and throw it kind of back. And then as you come forward, let your hip throw your shoulder back forward again. So there's this feeling of kind of whipping the shoulder around. And then from the shoulder, you connect to the elbow. And that means you're gonna actually move your arm like this. Elbow comes back, elbow goes forward. Elbow comes back, elbow goes forward. So you're drawing a circle with your elbow. You're aware of it connecting from the shoulder to the elbow, from the center to the shoulder to the elbow. Your other hand is holding the dantian. And now, when you start to open your shoulder, you really start to open your chest, you start to open your lungs, you start to open the breath, become more powerful and more dynamic. And then we have one more joint to connect to in the arm, and that is the wrist. So when the elbow comes back, the wrist gets pulled back. And when the elbow goes forward, it pushes the hand forward with the fingers up. Pulls the hand back, pushes with the fingers up. Back and forward. Now, put it all together. Movement from the center, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Turning of the hips to the side, the rotation back to the front, and the full transfer of weight from one leg to the other. All of it working in harmony. All of it in unison. All of it flowing like a river. Now take a big breath in. And now push as if you're pushing something heavy. And then take another big breath in. And push something heavy away again. And then one more time, in slowly, fill the stomach, fill the air to the diaphragm. Push it away. Now, switch your feet. So your right foot is forward, drop your right hand, and then push forward and back. From the left foot to the right foot. From the left foot to the right foot. Now, we're going to go on this side a lot faster. I won't talk as much because I've explained most of it on the other side. But of course, it's a unity of motion. The center is where everything is moving from, and the breathing is the same. So you breathe in when you go back and out when you go forward. Now come in and back to the side, and then forward and back to the front. And become aware then of the hip pulls the shoulder. The shoulder responds to the movement of the hip. The hip is moving because the legs are pushing it forward and back. Now the shoulder starts to be thrown and thrown back. The movement is exaggerated slightly to really bring it into the joint of the shoulder. Doing this then allows the elbow to be thrown forward and back, opening the chest, opening the lungs, breathing in deeply. out strongly. And then the hand is, or the wrist is the final joint. It comes back, the palm to the outside, and then forward. Draw back, and move forward from your center. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, powerful breath in, powerful breath out. Hold it for a second. In, out. One more. Now, left foot to right. Take a big breath in, hands out to the side. Pull from above down. Fingertips facing inwards at you. Come down to the outside of the ribs and then push down past the back of the hips all the way to the ground. Stretch down, reach around the toes, pull up, breathing in. Up to the center of the chest, turn the hands and push up and out, breathing out. And then shake it off. Okay, so that's a basic Tai Chi warm-up. And the reason that I wanted to do that warm-up, particularly on a first class day, is because the concept can be laid out so clearly. You have a center. In order to move the center, you have to just shift your weight from one foot to the other. Once you do that, you're moving your hips. Once your hips move, your shoulder has to move. There's no choice, right? They're obviously connected. But then what you do is you use that motion of moving the hip from the center and the leg into the shoulder to move the elbow, which then moves the wrist. And whatever the movement of the Tai Chi form is, that's how it's actually working. So that's the mechanics of Tai Chi. And as I said, the focal point, especially initially, is the maximization of body potential. Now, Tai Chi also has this idea of energy, an energetic dynamic development. But what you can think about with that is, well, two things. First is blood flow, which is just any movement that you do continuously gets the blood to flow all through the capillaries of the extremities of the body, so up to the fingertips. That's very important. But also mental focus and agility, and mental focus and agility, not just physical agility, but mental agility, are all connected in this theory. So if Tai Chi means the grand ultimate, one of the ultimate things to do is to be very fast, basically, in a very focused way. So a movement that's not really done slowly can actually be expressed with a lot of speed and power, and that's called Fajing. So we're going to use some exercises of that way to also just have a bit of a workout for the muscles, which is how you focus your energy, is through your muscles. And that's important too, because I think there's a connection to the ability to focus your mind and the ability to focus your body. So when you build the body's focus, you build the mind's focus. So let's have a look at that. If we go back to left foot forward stance, like we were warming up, and we think about this motion here, okay? What I want to do is I want to think about a wheel that comes back, or maybe like a slingshot that comes back, gets to a maximum point, and then gets thrown forward through the hip, this way, very strongly. So what we're going to do is pull back, and then we're going to turn our hip, and we're going to extend out a punch, a closed fist, right? Proper closed fist, this way, straight forward here, like this. So it goes one, here. I'm going to focus my strength. I'm going to squeeze my hand, which contracts my forearm, and then it builds the muscle tone of the whole arm, okay? So come back. We're just going to do 5 of these on each arm. 1, and then you squeeze it and hold it like you're trying to crush something in your hands. And then you breathe in and open your hand. 2, squeeze and hold the hand. 3, 4, and 5. And then switch your hands and feet. And you'll notice your right hand already feels like you've done some work with it because those contractions are very strong muscular contractions. So it's very, very good for the arm. Now, breathe in and punch with the left. 1. Squeeze your hand. Back. 2. Open the hand when you come back. 3. 4. 5. Good. Touch your feet again. And now we're going to do the same thing for the legs. In order to contract all of the muscles of the leg, we're going to do a full extension forward, which is called a front kick. But it really is about the extension forward and the strength development at that point. So if you put your left foot forward, give your right foot behind, put your hands up. Put your hands up like you're doing this, and then just splitting it apart slightly. Here, okay? Now, bring your knee up to your elbow, and then push your foot forward and contract it just like we were contracting the hand. Squeeze the foot, and then bring the foot back and step back. So that's the same thing as this, but we're doing it with the foot, okay? 1. Back. 2. Back. 3. Back. 4. Back. 5. Back. Switch feet. So your right foot is in front, hands still up, kicking with the left now. Same thing. 1. Back. 2. Back. 3. Back. 4. Back. 5. And back. And shake it out. So that dynamic is so important for Tai Chi movements because when I extend my arm, I have to have the strength to rotate back into my center. And those are exercises you can do anytime. You could do this 100 times a day and it would do nothing but good for your arms. And you could do this 100 times a day and it would do nothing but good for your legs. So let's do a stretch. So stretch, put your feet out, point them outwards, sink down, and relax. Start to go side to side. Punch your feet forward, put your fingertips on the ground, let your elbows sink down. Now, bring your left elbow to your right knee, twist and look up at the ceiling. Other way. Now straighten your back and turn to your left. Push into a stretch. So make sure your knee stays over your ankle, your back foot's extending out, and the upper body is straight and strong. You can lean, put more weight onto your left foot. You can turn your left toe out slightly and just push that stretch to its maximum. And then you can put your right hand down for support, turn your right heel up and stretch, runner stretch to the side. Put your heel down, shift your weight back to your right foot and sink down. I call this one Tai Chi stretch. Flip your foot, straighten up, Settle your stretch, look to the right and push. Now you can lean into this stretch, push the right foot out to the side slightly and really press. Hand down, heel up. Shift the weight back to the left foot and sink down. Put the hands in the middle, work the feet in. Put your fingertips under your toes, straighten your legs, stretching down. Breathe in, bring the hands up the back of the legs. Push forward, relax, release the stretch from your hips. Go in a circle with the hips. Other way. Good. Now, upper body stretch. Put your hands out. Rotate your wrists. So this is to relax the joints of the arms as well as to stimulate the blood flow to the fingertips again. And then wrists and elbows. But keep your elbows directly out from your shoulders. See how mine are 90 degrees from my shoulders? And then big circles. Relax the shoulders. This is to relax. And then backwards. Relax those shoulders. And then wrists and elbows only. Elbows straight out from the shoulders. And then just wrists backwards. And then grab a big beach ball. Breathe in, bring it up over your head. Breathe out, smash it on the ground. 1, 2, 3. And then reach up for the ceiling. Now look up at your fingertips. Imagine your fingertips can be stretched like Play-Doh. You're going to push them up into the ceiling, all of the fingertips as high as they can. And then you're going to push your heels up and keep your toes firmly on the ground, so you're on your tippy toes. And the point is to see how long you can stretch your body. And then bring your heels down, grab your elbow, twist and pull. And then go the other way, twist and pull. And then reach up again. And one more time, go on your tippy toes, push your heels up, push your toes down, and your fingertips up. See how stretched out you can be. And then bring your heels down. Grab your left hand like this. So see I'm grabbing here, twist and pull behind you. Other way, grab the right hand with the left, twist and pull behind you. Back, and shrug it out. And now we're going to do a wrist stretch and a neck stretch to finish. So the wrist stretch is left hand comes up, grab the hand, pull the fingers back towards the elbow. So the arm is fully extended, and your stretch should be felt on the top of the wrist here. Now bring your hand back in towards your chest, grab the thumb side of the hand and twist the palm out to the front with a motion like this, as if you're holding a teacup and turning it to the front. And then bring your hand back out again and push the fingers back, go pointed upwards. So the difference is now the fingers are pointed up. And then bring your hand back in, connect your thumb and forefinger, and then all of your other fingers create a crane's beak. Grab the crane's head and push to the side. So I'm pushing this way, and I'm feeling the stretch in the top of my wrist. Oh, sorry, I'll turn that off. And then give it a shake. And then the same thing with the right wrist. So hand out, pull back, fingers down. And then come up and twist here. And then fingers back up and push back. And then bring your hand in, make a crane beak, and push down into the side. And then give it a shake. And then put your hands on your hips and turn your head side to side. This way and this way. Back and forth. And then roll your chin one way, roll your chin another way. Again and again. Look forward, look up, look down, and go around. 1, 2, 3, other way. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so this is our warm-up and stretch that we do every class because it's very important that you develop that sort of loosening up the joints, developing the muscles, contractions in the right way. But now let's talk about Tai Chi specifically and spend the rest of the class for the new people introducing the first bit of it, and then for the people that have been with me for a while, we're going to continue with the formal course. So Tai Chi Chuan is the title of what we're actually studying. And what's important to note about that is, well, there's a number of things. Let's start with this. Tai Chi is just a term, not just a term, but it's a term that means grand ultimate, the greatest achievement, perfection or personification of energetic dynamic balance. And it's a very deep philosophical concept within Taoist thinking where the universe is a creation of a polarity of yin and yang, and the aim is to balance those seemingly opposite dynamics into peace. So Tai Chi means to achieve that. So as a grand ultimate, it's very philosophical. But the term is Tai Chi Chuan. And this is where you get the term fist. And when they say fist, they do mean this. They do mean the clenched fist. But it's a very different interpretation of what that means than most people would generally assume, because you think of fist, you think of punching and violence, and that's not what they mean. What they mean is to grasp personal power, to hold yourself accountable in a really honest, powerful way. So it's not that you're making a fist to hit something, it's that you're making a fist to grab something. I want to grab something, and that something I'm grabbing is my own personal power. So the grand ultimate empowerment is really more of an honest way of saying it in a way. However, the martial art part of it also is important, and this is where the yin and yang balance comes in to some degree. So you have this idea that you want to achieve self-perfection, but you live in a world where there's billions of other people, and not just other people, but you interact with the planet, you interact with different animal species, you interact with the environment, you interact with just nature and the elements. So all those interactions have an effect, and that is the place at which you want to determine how you interact with them. This is the Tai Chi, the moment of that connection between yourself and the outer world. So the best way to put this would be, okay, so there's mind, body, spirit. So you have a mind, you have conscious awareness, you have a spirit, whatever that might mean to you, and you have a physical body. The harmonization of these three things is well known to be a high level of health and peace. That's what that would mean. But they're determined so much by your interactions with all the other elements in the universe that you interact with. So the relationship, that's what the martial context is. When you are developing application, when you're developing the martial understanding, you're developing your ability to have a relationship to the other things that you interact with constantly, and to have it done in a peaceful, graceful way. That's Tai Chi. So there's the conceptual element. Now let's look at the practice. So to start with, we begin the form by standing in the Wu Chi. And the Wu Chi is the void from which the Tai Chi emerges. So the Wu Chi is like the space before space. And that is symbolically done by bringing your feet together, hands to your dantian, relaxing your body, straightening your back, allowing your spine to rise up while your feet sink down, and the connecting point between the two being in the lower torso. Letting your head rest comfortably on the top of the shoulders, and then you transfer all of your weight to the right foot, because out of the void, movement emerged. And that first movement is the left foot stepping up and out and down and rooting onto the floor. Once the weight goes to the left foot, it transfers back to the middle, and both hands fall to the top of the legs here. And this is where we begin the actual Tai Chi form. So this is really a standing meditation posture, a Qigong posture, that steps out, roots as preparation for the practice. Now the practice begins not with the hands rising, but with the eyes looking. And what I mean by that is this. If I step out and I'm staring at a fixed point, say maybe I have a speaker over here on my stereo, and I look at just that, I'm missing all of the rest of what my visual field can take in. It's a fixed point, and I want to do the opposite. I want to look, and I want to see 180-degree peripheral vision of where I'm looking at everything but nothing in particular. And when I do that, it shifts my mind. It shifts your consciousness to a place where you're more perceptive. And then you can start to interact with the world. And that's the first thing you're going to do when you interact with the world is you raise your hands. So to raise the hands, bend the wrists and let the fingertips be very heavy. And they rise up. And they rise up. The elbows don't rise yet. And then the elbows rise. And then the wrists get to about the height of the top of your head. And then they roll forward. The elbows are falling back down. And the wrists are rolling down until the fingertips are roughly the height of your shoulders. At which point you actually sink and pull slightly, curling your fingers to about halfway. Okay? So we'll do it again from here. You're starting in the void. You're no thoughts, no particular anything, and you step out into the world. You root yourself on the earth. Your hands fall into a ready position. And then you look and you open up your peripheral vision. From that point, your hands rise. And then they fall. And then you clench your fingers and you pull into your center. And that's your first movement. So let's do just the first movement, not the step out part. We can sort of skip that. Just this 10 times. Okay? So from here, think about holding the lower pelvis up and forward slightly so the lower back is straight. Think about holding your back here, not like this. And let your elbows float up, breathing in through the nose. Now, let your elbows fall down. And notice that comes from the shoulder. The hands just stay where they are essentially until they're pulled by the elbows. And then the fingertips only begin to clench right near the end. And then when they do, everything is sunk down through here to the ground. Okay, that was 1, 2. Slowly, let the hands rise like they're clouds. And fall like a leaf falling from a tree. And then fall back down. And 3, again, as light as air. Rooted right back into the earth. Now I want you to go up very quickly and down very slowly. 4. Again, up quickly, down slowly. 5. And then back down, and 6. And then your hands come back down. Now I want you to go 3 times where you go up very slowly and down very quickly. 1, or 7, I should say. 8. And 9. Up slowly. Down quickly. And then one last time for 10. Up quickly and down quickly. Ready? Go. Okay. That movement represents this idea in terms of self-defense. You are standing on the street, and out of nowhere, somebody comes up in front of you and tries to reach and grab you with 2 hands. Kind of, we sometimes make fun of it, called the zombie walk, but it is how people often go to grab, is they'll go maybe with 1 hand or 2 forward. So when that happens, hands are coming in usually about the height of your throat. You're going to knock them up with the back of the wrist here, this. And that motion is going to push the hands up and open the top of the shoulders here on that person, where you're going to hit the collarbones with the bottom of the hand this way. Here, see? So it goes up into the arm here, down onto the collarbone here, okay? That's what the speed here does. Those are the 2 moments where you can express the jing, or power. You do practice it this way very slowly, of course, but that builds power too. Then, your fingertips come into a pressure point here. Now, this pressure point has multiple uses, called stomach 12. It's also good for if you feel inflammation in the like sinus cavity stuff, like if you're feeling like you're a bit stuffy nose and that kind of thing, or even sometimes you have indigestion, you can actually tap this point, and it as well as this point actually, and you can stimulate the thymus gland, you can stimulate the vagal nervous system. There's a lot of good use for it. So what you want you to do is put your fingers like this, like we do in the form, and tap at the base of your collarbone in just behind the bone. And then I want you to feel where the tapping is most pronounced, that you feel it strongest, and I want you to squeeze into that point until it kind of makes you cringe. Right there. That's stomach 12. That's the pressure point we're stimulating when we tap here for beneficial reasons. But in application for self-defense, when you come up here, you knock the arm up, and then you hit the collarbone down, you grab into that point with both hands strongly like this, and the person drops. Because what it's doing is it's sending such a powerful signal from the nerve bundle, all the ganglia of nerves here, to the brain, that you can't let this happen, the person just drops. So that is the self-defense element. Knock the hands up, hit the collarbones, grab the nerves, and make them drop, okay? So that's for the people on their first day here. That's your first movement of the form, to come up and down, and to understand that you're applying a self-defense technique in your mind to do the technique correctly, because it doesn't, this isn't correct, and then this isn't correct. It has to be done just like that, okay? So that's what I'm giving the people in their first class. Now, for the people that are here for a while, let's take a look at where we are in the form. I think the last thing we did with everybody else was we did 1, 2, 3, reach, and come back. And then I think back to there. Is that correct? I hope so. Can't really tell. But let's assume it is. I'm pretty sure that's where we are. So let's review to that point, and then we'll probably finish the class with that. So I'm going to practice the form as far as we've developed it facing the other way until that point. If there's questions before we move forward, I'd like to address them then. Okay, so let's just practice the form to that point. Starting here, starting just like we had begun, feet together, head Back straight as looking forward, stepping out with the left foot. Rooting down, hands fall. Look forward, peripheral vision. And now raise your hands. Lower your wrists, bring your feet down. Your hands down. Squeeze your fingers. Now draw back, turn to the right. Push down. Pick up the thermos, aim to the corner on the 45, and throw the thermos away. Rock back, turn, pull in, protect your head and your chest. Step forward, strike the sinuses and the sternum. Hit both sides of the head. Grab the head, twist it, pull it down. Draw figure 8. Throw away. Meet the grab coming in, roll back with the person, and then push them up and away. Look to the front, bring your left foot in, step directly across and brush aside. Once to the left, twice to the right. Bring your left knee to your left elbow, make the crane beat with your right hand. Step down, out, and expand into single whip. Look to the front, dive into the water. Transfer your weight from right to left. Bring your hands around in a circle. Bring the hands up, fingers pointed upwards. Hands come down, knee comes up. Knee at the highest point, hands at the lowest point, hands come up. Everything comes down the middle together. Step forward. Clear with the right hand. Keep clear with the left. Strike with the back of the right wrist. Roll back to the left foot. Turn to the left. Draw a circle with the left hand. Come up into eagle spreads its wings position. Strike the temple with the right hand. Cup air with the left hand. Clear with the left hand. Step in and push forward powerfully with the right hand. Reach up and forward like you're Superman. Thumbs out. Draw back. And then clear with the left hand and push with the right hand again. Okay? So, I want to know if people want to review that or you want to start moving forward right away. Let's do it this way, because I know most of you are muted. Do you want to review? Yes or no? Give thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up, thumbs up. I'm seeing some thumbs up. Yeah, okay. Okay, let's review then. Let's review, can I assume that we can review maybe from here and just go through this? That seems like a good point to begin. Yeah, let's do that, okay. So if we all go, if we're facing this way and we all go to single whip, we're here. So single whip, crane beat with the right hand. The right hand should be like this, where it's a wave function. It goes like this, and that wave continues to this hand. So smooth transition between all of the joints. And now I'm looking to the left, and my weight's on my left foot. I look back to the right. As I do, my hands come forward. They come forward, and when I get to my right foot, it's like I'm diving into water with my palms to the outside, and my index finger has just got a paper's thickness kind of away from itself on the other side. Okay, so that's here. Now, I'm going to put my weight back to my left foot. So what you do is you turn your left foot forward and you swing your hip across and you draw 2 circles with your hands. The circles are coming to the outside, and then as they come, the hands come down, the right foot shifts and everything aligns here. The foot comes into place with the hands coming together there, like you're holding a ball. You're holding that ball again. At that point, your fingertips go up. So the motion comes up. And then as the hands fall, the knee comes up. And there's a crossing point here. And then the knee is at the highest point and the hands are at the lowest point. Okay, so you're here. Then your hands come back up. and everything comes down the center in one motion. And what that means is, from here, my foot is pushing downwards and my hands are coming together. So the foot is doing a kick like this. Here, pushing that way. Push down here. Okay? The hands coming in with two strikes this way, with this part of the hand here. So it's like you're hitting like this. Okay? So, 1, 2, hands at the highest point, knee down, hands up. Knee up, hands down. Hands back up, and then down. Now from here, you simply put your right foot down, and then you put your weight forward and push your right hand across your center line to the left hip. Then your left hand comes down to where your right hand was. So the right hand goes to here, the left hand takes that space, and then the right hand comes out. And just like the beginning of the form, you're hitting with the back of the wrist this way. So it's a strike like this, here. Okay? So it goes down, in, and then out. Now, from here, my weight's on my right foot. I'm going to transfer my weight to my left foot. I'm going to turn my right foot to the left, and I'm going to reach out with my left hand and shift my weight to my right foot. And then I'm drawing a circle with my left hand to come back to there. Okay, let's do it again. From here, back, turn, reach, up, and then down. Now, as my hand comes down, my right hand comes up. And I end up in eagle or white crane spreads its wings here. Okay, let's do it again from here, back, turn, raise the hand, around, and pull back. Now from here, I'm going to strike with the back of my right hand. I'm going to come around and hit with the knuckle of my right hand at the center line. That means it's going to come to here. See, it's coming to, there's my center line, it's coming to there. And my left hand is going to respond by coming out and cupping air across. And then it's going to clear in front as my right hand pushes in. Okay? And again, that clearing in front is this idea. Something's coming at your stomach, you're going to push it out to the outside and then strike there. The motion clears and strike. Okay? So, one more time, eagle spreads its wings, back. So right foot forward, right hand up. You've just done that strike, you rock back. You turn to the left, and you come up. 1, 2, and back. And then you strike with the back of the right knuckle, cup air with the left hand. Now, as the left hand clears in front, the left foot moves forward. So there is a motion with the left foot here to step out to a strong stance. And then the right hand pushes forward. Okay, now from here, continue moving forward. Shift your weight to the front of your left foot and extend your hands like Superman, as I say. And what that means is you lean into this way. Okay? Then from here, you move your weight back to your right foot and you bring your two palms to the outside on the right. There. And then you simply do the same position where you step in with your left foot forward and clear with your left hand while your right hand does that straight. Okay? So, time is it? Okay. You got enough time. I'd like to have you guys actually practice whatever you learned today for 1 minute by yourself. See if you find any kinks that you want to ask questions about, okay? So the people that are here for the first day, just practice stepping out, dropping the hands, raising, and falling with them, okay? Just for 1 moment. Go ahead. So you've got, people are practicing. This is amazing. Let me talk about this a little bit because it's good for a first class thing and it's good to end on this. I just recently, of course, had a week off, a little bit of vacation time. And one of the things I did that I really enjoyed the most was climbing a big mountain. I love hiking and I love being in nature. And climbing a mountain is a good metaphor for lots of things. It's been well used by many people throughout history because it really is a metaphor for so many things. Practicing Tai Chi is a lot like climbing a mountain. And the first thing you'll notice about when you come up to a big mountain is that how big it is and how much there is to actually try to climb that mountain. And it can be quite intimidating, actually. And people, when they begin, often see just how deep it practices and how much knowledge is actually there, and it kind of feels a little overwhelming. But what you want to remember is that that's okay, because that's what makes it a mountain. If it wasn't a big pile of knowledge, it wouldn't be a mountain. It would just be a hill, and you would hardly notice it. You just walk right through it. So when you start to climb the mountain, the most important thing for most people when I take them hiking is to keep one foot in front of the other. Is you just keep plugging away at it no matter how hard it gets, no matter how challenging it seems. But then you start to get some elevation and you start to look back and you start to just see how much you've developed, and it becomes very, very, very rewarding. But that first bit is the hardest part because you haven't actually climbed up enough to get a view yet. So I really encourage everyone here who's still pretty new to remember that you're beginning a journey, and that journey will give you amazing rewards and dividends. Even if at first it feels like it's just work, it will. So having said that, let's do the form one more time. I'm going to do the entire first set now. I'm going to talk through it to some degree, and it'll start to be something you can start to make more sense of from each class. Okay, now the first set is our main goal for now. So this is what I'm hoping to accomplish within the next maybe 2 or 3 weeks with the people that have been already training. And for the new people, this is your first goal, is to, it's like the first lookout on the mountain is called the first set. Okay, so here we go. From the beginning, relaxing, letting the weight sink into the feet, stepping out into the world. Rooting yourself through your feet onto the ground, let your hands fall. Let your back be very straight, and now look with peripheral vision and raise your hands. Now deflect to the outside. Pour the tea, pick up the thermos. Throw the thermos to the corner. Roll back. Pull in your right foot, protect your head and protect your heart. Push away. Grab and figure eight. Roll back and push up and away. Look to the front. Left foot steps across, single whip. Step down and out. Single whip posture. This is the posture of single whip. Now to the front, transfer the weight. Dive into the water. Grab the arms, wrap them up. Fingertips come up. Hands come down, knee comes up. Fingers at the lowest point, knee at the highest point, hands come back up. Everything comes down the center. Stepping forward, deflecting with the right hand, keeping away with the left, striking with the back of the right wrist. Rolling back, turning to the left. Left hand does big circle, right hand comes up by the right eye. Strike the temple with the left or the right hand, cup air with the left hand, clear, stepping forward with the left foot. Push with the right hand. Reach up like Superman, extend. Come back. Push forward with the left foot again, clear, and push with the right hand. Now, the next movement is to take the left hand and touch the left knee with the back of the left hand while your left foot turns out. There. Pushing with the right hand, take a big step, and then bring your left hand up and push. Now you do the same thing with the right. You turn the right foot out, you put the right hand on the top of the right knee, you take a big step, and then you push. Then you reach up like Superman again. And then you draw your hands back as you did before. But now the rest of the sequence now is all going to be new, so I'm just going to talk through it quickly. I'm going to wave with my right hand. I'm going to hold a tray with my left hand. And then I'm going to step my left foot forward and hit to the front with my right hand, fingers up. And then I'm going to bring my left hand down and across. And then I'm going to make a fist with my right hand and do what's called a hook punch, which is when you swing your hand in this way. Then I'm going to do something I call scoop the ice cream, which is to drop your hand and scoop. And then I'm going to bring up my right foot, and I'm going to do a stomping kick. I'm going to bring my foot back up. I'm going to point my left fingers up to the ceiling and bring my right hand in. I'm going to put my right foot down. I'm going to push forward with my left hand, step, and extend my left fingers forward. And then I'm going to punch with my right hand like this, like we were practicing earlier today in the warm-up here. And then I'm going to pull my two hands back. I'm going to push up and forward. I'm going to look to the front. My right foot will shift in. I'll turn to the front, and I'll draw two big circles with both hands. And as my hands come up, it's called carrying a tiger to the mountain. You're going to feel this weight on the top of your hands. And that is the first set of the Tai Chi form. So that's where we're headed. And if you've been training for a while, you're almost there. And if you just started, then congratulations on beginning the journey. So, any last questions before we finish?